Hi guys, Megan from imamom2.wordpress.com. I'd like to introduce you to one of our family members, MJ. She's decided to take up on the top of the couch tonight. But I've got the kids in bed from the day, and I actually wanted to share with you what happened today. About a year and a bit ago, a friend of mine whom I met at a mom's group actually a number of years ago, she called me up and said, I'm getting a lot of potential clients and new clients that are coming in and chatting with me that are all parents of kids with autism. Help, what do I say? What do I do? Can you fill me in a little bit better so I can work with my clients a bit more? So from that resulted in a coffee time, and then from that developed a workshop series. And I've mentioned about the workshop series on my blog, so check that out to see when the next one is in January. But last month's workshop was actually so, I don't know, it was invigorating. It's just so nice to actually be in the same room with other parents who get it, who get the differences. Being the extrovert that I am a natural joiner. So I am part of two moms groups, and I go to as many events as possible and all this. But there's always this difference. If there's a speaker that comes in and talks about picky eating, it's never picky eating in relation to sensory issues, for example, that my children face. It's picky eating in that the child just doesn't want to eat whatever is put in front of them. And that's different from not being able to. So anyway, that's a tangent. We started this workshop series, and last month's one, we had somebody come in and talk about finances and RDSPs and all that. And then I actually spoke about IEPs, because it's that time of year for us in the school system. And everybody that attended was like, it's so great to be in a room where we don't have to explain everything that we do. Is there any chance that we can get together again before the next workshop that you have scheduled in January? So we're like, sure, why not? We do these workshops at a church, and we just had to basically see if the church was available. So we were able to schedule these coffee times. Personally, I don't drink coffee, it's tea, but whatever, as I'm going to take a sip of my peppermint tea, so cheers. So we actually had our first coffee time today at the church that we do these workshops in, and it was just it was actually in the parlor. It was very, very posh that way. But there was some couches there and some chairs and all this, and about a dozen people showed up, which was great, and just the conversation just flowed the whole time. Everybody was talking. It was alphabet soup with all of the acronyms that happen in the special needs community, and obviously today's was specific to autism. People were there with brand new diagnoses, like under 6 months, compared to others that have had diagnoses for a decade. So it was great to kind of see how the differences that have happened over the years. There was even a discussion around how our kids that are a bit younger, we have so many more services available to us, at least in Canada. I'm not sure about other places in the world, but I'm Canadian, so I'm talking about what I know. Compared to when I first, for example, went to support groups through the local Autism Ontario chapter, and there was this very big disconnect between people who had kids that were adults with autism versus newly diagnosed. And initially I felt very out of place when I went to those support groups, because I felt a lot of the parents with kids who were adults were complaining a lot about the lack of services. And I totally understand that. I get that. But they were still talking about how it was 10, 15 years ago compared to today. And I would always pipe up in these meetings and say, this is not the experience that I'm having right now. And it was brand new in the diagnoses and or in my son's diagnosis, and I just wanted someone to talk to. And I wanted to be able to get some ideas and free flowing ideas and brainstorming and doing all of this stuff. And it didn't happen in those groups. So when we decided to do the coffee time aspect of things, for these workshops as well, we just really, like, I keep in the Facebook group saying how I really, really want this to be driven by the people who attend. It's so important to me that everybody comes out as much as they can, no matter where they are on the diagnosis journey. If you're just starting out and still in the assessment stage versus you've been doing this for 5, 10, 15 years, I want everybody to be able to come out to it. And the chemistry that was happening in the room today was fantastic. Everybody was talking. There were a couple people that were a little bit quieter than others, but there were people like me, who's a complete extrovert, in the room. And as I was reflecting on it after I put the kids to bed tonight, it made me wonder, you know, how do introverts do this? Because me as a natural extrovert, there's rarely a situation where I can't go in and say, hey, I'm Megan, and just start and introduce myself. But I can't imagine being in a room of maybe just a dozen people, and being an introvert and being somebody that doesn't feel comfortable or is very shy, or maybe in this instance, English is not the first language. I mean, today that wasn't an issue, but I mean, I guess I'm trying to kind of talk out loud about how to make these types of situations more inclusionary, so that people can come out and people feel comfortable to come out, and especially if you're an introvert. So please comment down below if you're an introvert, and let me know how groups like this, as I've described, can help somebody kind of come out of your shell and actually come to the event. I mean, we were just in this lounge thing. It was called the parlor in the church. But there were couches there, and we had coffee, and we had tea, and pumpkin loaf, and banana bread, and we tried to make it as comfortable as possible. But I know that somebody who's an introvert or somebody who's very shy might feel very intimidated to come to an event like this on their own, especially if they don't know many people. And what would help them kind of be able to speak up, because I don't have a problem with speaking up myself, but I know that people who are introverts or who are shy would feel that way, or may feel that way. I may be making an assumption here that, and not speaking of what I know, but I really need some guidance as to how to make these events feel more inclusionary, because once it's kind of going in this community, I would like to head off to other communities as well, to kind of get people out of the house and get people talking, and just start a support group, or a support network where people feel comfortable to be able to call other people up or email other people or Facebook other people saying, I have this issue. How did you deal with it? Have you had it? And I mean, it may be a thing of, I might need to figure out how to do some online groups, or I'm not sure how this is going to work. But I'm thinking primarily right now, as if you're an introvert, please comment down below and let me as an extrovert know how looking at this type of an event would feel to you, and the challenges that you might feel in coming out to an in real life event where you don't even necessarily know anybody except for this weird redhead that rambles on YouTube or writes in her blog or posts on Facebook or whatever. So anyway, I'd really like your honest feedback about it. So comment down below, and while you're down there, subscribe as well. And I look forward to chatting with you guys again, okay? Talk to you soon. Bye.